Choosing a camper trailer can be overwhelming, but Jill's story makes it simple. Her and her husband have traveled in 3 different trailers over the past 3 years and finally found one that works. The Mission Overland approach. With a full bathroom, a true queen bed that you don't have to fold away, and air conditioning.
My name is Jill, and I'm from 1941 Adventures, and we purchased this trailer 1 month ago.
This is your second Mission Overland trailer.
Yes, we had our first trailer, which is the size smaller than this. It's called the Mission Overland Summit, and we had it for close to 2 years.
And so why are you on this trailer?
So what we found when we bought the Summit, we enjoyed it so much, we started staying out longer. And my husband and I both work remote jobs. And so he starts earlier than me, and he didn't want to have to fold up half of the bed to start and have a place to work. So we wanted one that had a stationary bed and a booth that could also be a bed, like if our kids are with us. So more space for sure.
What kind of travel or camping do you usually do?
We do fairly remote camping. We like the views, so we're constantly chasing views. So as you can see, we're in the mountains of Idaho right now, and just being able to camp where you're not in a loud campground and dealing with, running around screaming kids all the time and barking dogs, and camping with like-minded people. So it's pretty nice to have a trailer that is off-road worthy.
Awesome. And then when you were, since this is your second trailer, if you remember with the first time when you were looking for a trailer, what problem were you trying to solve?
We wanted to be able to stand up in it. I didn't want to have to lay down to put my pants on. That is honest truth.
Awesome. Cool. And then so the Summit will solve that, and then...
Yes. Yep. The Summit, it has like a full-size bed in it, but the top pops up, and so you can stand at the foot of the bed. You can get dressed. You can actually use like a cassette toilet at the foot of the bed if you have the one that slides underneath. So there's enough room, some livable space.
Do you remember other trailers you were looking at, and why did you choose Mission Summit over others?
Yeah, we actually looked at quite a few brands. We looked at several teardrop styles. We had a trailer at the time that was a M416 military trailer with a rooftop tent on it. But the other problem we tried to solve was we wanted less canvas. We didn't want it flapping in the wind. We were missing out on some pretty epic campsites on a big trip we had because it was just too windy. And all the people that had structured trailers or vans were able to camp there, and we could just go and see it for the day. So we missed out on a lot of really cool spots. And I said, this is enough. We need something structural, but something that's going to give us livable space and that we can work out of. And so we started with the approach, and that kind of just led us into doing this longer and more. And so now we started with the Summit, and now we're with the approach.
So when you say canvas in the wind, so I guess people will ask the question of with the pop-up, how is that canvas?
So the canvas is extremely thick and it's extremely taut. So even in the high winds that we've had at this event, we've had 40, 50 mile per hour gusts throughout this event often. This does not flap. It does not shake at night. I've gotten very good sleep because it doesn't. And the Summit is the same way. It has a little bit more canvas because it pops up like a wedge. But again, the canvas is extremely taut, so it doesn't flap in the wind.
What about, I guess, like insulation?
So these are like a honeycomb type of aluminum insulation. So the walls are approximately, I'd say, 3 to 4 inches thick, and they hold the heat well, but they also keep the beating sun out quite well when it's very hot outside. These units come with air conditioning and a furnace and hot water heater. So it's a combination one. So it's a Truma combi. So you can stay nice and toasty in here. Even when last night it was 30 degrees, we barely used the furnace.
Considering how you were your first Mission trailer, why did you decide to buy another trailer?
Well, the funny thing was we were extremely happy with our Summit, but we knew what floor plan we wanted, and that was the permanent bed with a booth separate, and no one else offered that. Every other trailer that we had looked at, you had to convert the bed to have the booth, the dinette, and we just didn't want to do that. So we were very lucky that Mission was the one that offered it.
What are your favorite features on this trailer? And if you can show them to me as well.
Absolutely. I probably have 2 favorite features, and that would be the slide out kitchen. So I have running water, and I have a 3-burner propane stove right next to my slide out fridge freezer. So I do like to cook when we camp, and I cook real food, not the freeze dried meals. So it's a really nice, convenient setup and layout. And I think the other thing is there is a full indoor wet bath in this approach. So I took a shower last night. There is a full cassette toilet. So I don't have to worry about running in the distance to the porta potty or, waiting 5 days to take a shower. And I can show you what that looks like really quick. So there's plenty of room to shower in here. And there's, like I said, there is a water heater. So you'll have hot running water. And then there's a cassette toilet. And it's a really perfect height and lots of room. So it's larger than a lot of the showers that I've seen in a lot of vans and smaller trailers. And it's very easy to use. We do have an outdoor shower as well. So when it is nice outside, you can also shower on the other side outside.
Awesome. And then, so is there a way to cook inside at all?
You can, if you had like a jet boil type stove or an induction stove that was separate and not mounted anywhere, you could absolutely use one. I recommend an induction stove because then you're not worrying about any type of a flame. That's something we do plan to pick up for this one since we have more room. We use our coffee maker inside. I have used I have a fire maple, which is like a jet boil style.
Can you show us where
Yeah, come on in and see the dinette. So there is a full dinette that can also be a bed. And again, like I said, it's separate from the queen bed. So we can sit here, we can eat, we can work. And if we need to have this as a second bed, this drops down and there's one other piece that goes here and it's a full-size bed. So you can comfortably sleep 4 people in here, or 2 adults and 4 kids, or in our case, a couple of dogs.
And then are those like bins that you guys have added, or?
Yeah, so the bins we added just because it was a good place to put snacks and things like that. We are actually thinking, that's one thing we're thinking of changing, is we felt like that space could have had another one of the cabinets. So we may add another cabinet and get 2 more doors from Mission to put over there. And then that way we don't have to put them on the floor when we actually tow the trailer and worry about them falling down.
Have you guys done any kind of like personal modifications to this trailer that
we have? One of the biggest things is we changed the kitchen faucet. The one that comes on it is fairly short, and it has a front to back turn dial for the cold to hot. So all the way forward is cold and off, and all the way back is full blast and hot. So if you want to wash dishes and use hot water, you have to have it on full blast. And that uses a lot more water than a lot of us like to use. A lot of us use the trickle method when we wash dishes. So we felt like we were wasting too much water. So we switched out to this one. You can find it on Amazon. We did the same thing in our Summit. We switched out to this faucet, and you can have it on just trickle on hot water. And the hot water heater is really fast. It has a boost feature. So if you turn it on in about 5 minutes, you have hot water to wash dishes or take a quick shower. If you leave it on just a little bit longer, you can have an even longer shower.
With this trailer compared to the Summit, how is the towing experience?
To be 100% honest, I like the towing on this one better than the Summit. The Summit was not bad, but it seems that the tongue weight is better on the approach. And where they have, on both of the trailers, they place the water tank right above the axle. So it's super low, so you carry your weight in a really good place. And this approach is extremely balanced. So I actually do most of the highway towing because my husband sits and works in the passenger seat. And it's a dream to tow this one. I mean, it's just absolutely easy.
Awesome. And what are you towing it with?
We're towing it with a Ram 2500. You could use a regular half-ton pickup. We towed our Summit with a 4-door Wrangler, but this one's a little bit heavy for that. I think the dry weight on this is around 4,000 pounds, and with a full tank of water and all of our stuff in it, we haven't weighed it yet, but we're guessing it's around 5,000 pounds. And that's including a generator that we haul with us.
Okay, cool. I know you've kind of touched on the storage in there of how you're going to add those doors. Is there anything else that you may dislike a little bit or looking to change at all?
I think the only other thing we found was the placement of the actual thermostat sensor. It's placed kind of low on these trailers, close enough to the heat vent, so the furnace kicks on often. And so you do notice that at night if you're a light sleeper. I'm not. My husband notices it and it bugs him. So he, on both of our trailers, has moved the thermostat sensor up closer to where we sleep. And then the heat just regulates better. So it was a small change. There was enough line there, so he simply just moved it. Wasn't a big job, but that was a big change for us just to efficiency-wise, I would say.
Have you had any problems with the trailer to where you needed to interact with customer service?
We have not. Mission's been phenomenal because actually they're offering a new 12-volt style air conditioning, and ours doesn't have it yet. And so that was something they offered us if we wanted to upgrade and switch from the current air conditioning to the new 12 volts. So they're pretty nice as far as Sometimes things happen on trailers. If you need a new strut, parts can fail over time, especially if you're really rough on them and take them down washboard roads and things. So we've always had really good experience with them. They did some service on our Summit for us just to go through things and do a realignment and do the water test, all the things, kind of a couple yearly maintenance thing. So we've had really good experience with them. We've had a few friends get their trailers serviced in the same way, and they've been really good about taking care of us.
Awesome. And then last question is for anybody that's new to trailers and looking to purchase a trailer, is there any kind of like recommendations or advice you would give somebody when they're looking at trailers?
Absolutely. I think the most important thing is where are you going to take it and how often are you going to use it? And that is going to determine how much you're going to spend and what size trailer, what kind of a tow rig do you have? Kind of make yourself a list and answer those questions, because I see a lot of people that buy really, really large trailers, and especially if it's an area you live in and you see them sit in their driveway week after week after week, all during camping season, and they might use it once or twice. And to me, that seems like kind of a waste. So I feel like if you're going to get something you're going to use, you're going to be happy with, and not something that you don't need. So buy something too excessive or too big you're not comfortable to tow or to back up.
And then are you open to anybody like contacting you for questions on this trailer?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have been ambassadors for Mission for a little over a year, and we're very happy to answer questions and get you in contact with anyone, whether you're a current owner and need something, or whether you're looking to get into one or have questions on this one or the other one. There's a third trailer option they make called a Trail Dog, which is a fantastic option for people who have mountain bikes or moto-bikes or quads. So that one's pretty neat as well, and it's missionoverland.com if you want to take a look at them and see the different styles.